Hi, I'm Brett Christopherson with USA Today Network Wisconsin, and this is today's Coronavirus 5 and 5, a 5-minute rundown of five of the top stories by our network of journalists who continue to report on the COVID 19 pandemic. We'll lead it off with today's top headline: confirmed cases of coronavirus in Wisconsin increases by 121. According to the state's Department of Health Services, the state's confirmed cases of COVID 19 is now at 4,620, while the death toll rose to 242. But Tuesday's increase of 121 was the lowest in a week and comes a day after Governor Tony Evers announced a three-phase plan to reopen the state. Of those who have tested positive for the coronavirus in Wisconsin, 1,252 have been hospitalized. The Wisconsin Hospital Association reported Tuesday morning that 358 patients were currently hospitalized with COVID 19, while 221 inpatients were awaiting test results. Our next headline comes from the Journal Sentinel's Bill Glauber. Tony Evers to unhappy GOP, deal with Donald Trump. Governor Tony Evers defended his phased plan to reopen the state from the coronavirus outbreak and said it was based on guidelines issued by President Donald Trump's administration. During a Tuesday interview with WTMJ AM, Evers also pushed back at Republican legislators who have voiced strong opposition to his proposal, saying, quote, if the state Republicans don't think Donald Trump's plan is appropriate, they can deal with Donald Trump, I guess, end quote. In Evers' plan, called the Badger Bounceback Plan, daily life in Wisconsin would begin to resume only after cases of coronavirus and flu-like symptoms have declined for 2 weeks straight. The plan also requires restrictions to be lifted in three phases, testing to be available for everyone with symptoms, and leaves the decision to allow for more interaction and business activity with state health officials. Read the complete story online, where you'll also find a breaking story by the Journal Sentinel's Molly Beck, in which state GOP lawmakers are asking the Wisconsin Supreme Court to block the governor's order to stay home. So keep an eye on that development. Moving on to our next headline: no proof yet of a surge in coronavirus cases after Wisconsin election. Journal Sentinel and PolitiFact reporter Eric Litke examines a story that had been shared on Facebook claiming, quote, immense consequences, end quote, from the in person voting that took place during the state's April 7th primary. So Eric asks this question in his analysis: have confirmed coronavirus cases really surged after the in person election? His answer is no, at least not yet. Check out Eric's piece on any of our network websites. It's an interesting read that outlines several critical data errors from the story he examined. So, what is the truth? Well, it's still too soon to say what impact the primary had on the state's virus outbreak. So far, there's no sign of an increase. That's according to Andrea Palm, Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Next, bar owners mixed on opening May 1st as Tavern League wants. Wisconsin's service industry, booming just 6 weeks ago, is now grappling with a nearly complete shutdown as bars and restaurants have become one of the hardest hit industries during the virus pandemic. The president of the Tavern League of Wisconsin on Sunday released a statement saying Wisconsin bars and restaurants should be allowed to reopen May 1st, but individual bar and restaurant owners have mixed feelings. Experts say there will be still a concern for public health until there is widespread testing, a vaccine, or a treatment for coronavirus. Meanwhile, the Tavern League set out guidelines for a May 1st opening that include placing tables 6 feet from one another, operating at half capacity, and requiring workers to wear personal protective equipment. The Journal Sentinel's Jordan Nenig has the story. And finally, a bit of a downer, but not unexpected for the folks out there who, like me, are missing sports. WIAA cancels spring competitions and state tournaments. WIAA Board of Control canceled spring sports competitions and the tournament series on Tuesday, approving the measure by a 10-1 vote. But there is a glimmer of hope. The Journal Sentinel's Mark Stewart is following the story and reports that prep coaches in spring sports will be able to continue to offer virtual coaching until the end of the season, which is defined as the final date that's of that sports state tournament or meet. The Board of Control also expanded the number of summer contact days for spring sports from 5 to 30, which would give those athletes a chance to compete in some fashion. And those contact days must be open to seniors. Rules must still be followed, and the contact must follow Governor Tony Evers' orders. So, barring a change from the governor, the earliest of the contact days can begin is July 1st. Find those stories and more coronavirus coverage on any of our 10 USA Today Network Wisconsin websites and jsonline.com. Two more items before we wrap it up for the day. Look for a special coronavirus edition of Newsmakers on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. USA Today Network USA Today Network Wisconsin Health and Science reporter Madeline Heim will be talking with Julie Willems Van Dyke, Deputy Secretary of the State Department of Health Services. They'll discuss two big pieces of the puzzle state leaders think we'll need to start reopening, more testing and more contact tracing. The show will begin at 4:30 p.m. and it can be seen on all of our network websites and Facebook pages. And you can also ask questions through either our real-time chat or the comments section on Facebook. And finally, please support local journalism, and you can do that by signing up for a digital subscription to any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites. It's just $5 for the first 3 months and gives you full access on any device that's mobile, desktop, and tablet to all of our local stories, photos, and sports, videos, news, everything you want from around the state. If you want the most complete, most in depth coverage of what's going on in your community and throughout Wisconsin, we've got it for you. Go to any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites and click on the subscribe tab at the top right of the site. That's it for now. As always, be safe.